What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Oh! Now, I dropped this video about Michael Jordan and his 15th ranking on the top 99 NBA defenders ever list by Bleacher Report, and the comment section was basically telling me I need to go ahead and react to the full list. Go into the comment section and list your starting 5 with the best defenders at each position in NBA history, and let's react to this video. Top 99 list. Now, I'm gonna be honest. There was some spoilers in the comment section of my last video telling me where certain someone was ranked. All right, now I don't crash out. That is not how I conduct myself. But as you can see behind me, they might get the reaction out of me that they want. So let's go ahead and react to the full list. Top 99 defenders ever. All right, that's all time in NBA history. One thing we have to understand about these lists, there's really no definitive answer why players are placed in a certain spot. But the certain numbers, the certain rankings, like Michael Jordan at 15th, it's used to trigger a reaction. So let's go ahead and react to the top 99. Number 1, or number 99, Don Boosie. Don't know you, but you have 6 first teams. All right, that's something. Career stats: 2 steals, 0.2 blocks, steal percentage, block percentage. Those 2 stats, nobody really cares about those. All right, but he did operate or play in 1972 to 1985. So sometimes era might have something to do where a player is ranked, why they aren't ranked higher or lower. 6 first teams, that's nothing to scoff about. But he only had 31 defensive win shares. Who's next? Larry Nance. All right, 81 to 94. Now, in that era, it was dominated by big men. He played the power forward role, so that could have something to do with it. 44.6 defensive win shares, 0.9 steals, 2.2 blocks. But like I said, there's really no continuity on why players are ranked in a certain spot. So I'm thinking so far, eras could have a large thing to do with it. 1 first team, 2 second team. Oh boy had 6. So I mean, right off the bat, that might not be it. So I'm thinking top 10 defensive player of the year finishes. The era might have something to do with why these players are ranked where they are. Eddie Jones, 1994 to 2008, 1.7 steals per game, 0.6 blocks, 43.5 defensive win shares, but no first team selections. No first team selections, 3 second team selections, and 2 top 10 defensive player of the year finishes. So like I said, right now, this is telling me the era has a lot more to do with it than actual first team selections. I mean, I'm not scoffing at Eddie Jones, really. I mean, when I think of Eddie Jones, he was a good defender, but I'm thinking of Eddie when it comes to offense. I mean, right here, averaged 17 points a game and 3.3 assists for his career and shot 38% from 3. When I think of Eddie Jones, that's what I think about. All right, shout out to Heat Nation. Next up, we got y'all know why. Let's move on. Let's move on. Elvin Hayes. He was in 1968 to 1984. No first teams, 2 second teams, but he has 83.7 defensive win shares, average 2 blocks a game, and 1 steal per game. Like I said, I think they're leaning heavily into the era and your position. So if you're a guard and you were in the era of, the late 90s and the 2000s, I mean, think about it. You got to go out there and guard Dwayne Wade, Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson, Kobe, Vince Carter, guys like that. So you're probably going to have a lot more credit to your name on this list versus, I mean, if you're a big and you were in the era of the early 2000s, you see Shaq, Tim Duncan. I mean, you see them maybe 8 games out of the 82. So like it's going to be different. So because you got to see Bill Russell, or because you got to see Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you got to deal with, Wes Unseld and all those other guys, you're probably going to have more credit to your name on this list. You know, I'm be fair. I'm going to be fair. And why does this say 2016 to present? I don't know. Because he's not active right now. He has been active for like 4 or 5 years. But let's talk about this in the sense of Ben Simmons was 6'10", right? Can guard physically 1 through 4. I didn't see him guard too many 5s, but he can guard 1 through 4. And if you have a 4 playing the 5 position, he could probably lock in defensively. 18.6 defensive win shares, 1.5 steals. 2016. I mean, okay, you know, different era of basketball, more pace and space, and you know, run and gun and shoot threes. So a guy that can guard several positions is going to be more valuable, even in the short time that he played. 2 first teams, 2 top 10 defensive player of the year finishes. I mean, we're going off not exactly potential, but small sample size in this scenario. I'm okay with it. DeAndre Jordan at 93. 2008 to present. I don't know. 2 first teams, 3 top 10 defenders. I mean, I don't know. We'll circle back to DeAndre Jordan, because when I look at DJ again, small sample size, very small sample size, because they had maybe a 6-year window in LA. So I don't know. Who we got next? Don Chaney. Not too educated on this dude. Not gonna hold you up. But once again, 0 first team, 5 second team, and he played from 68 to 80. I mean, in that era, I mean, Jerry West, you got Gail. Not too educated on Don Chaney, so we're just gonna move on. Joel Embiid, I'm gonna say off rip, nah. I'm gonna say no. 4 top 10 defensive player of the year finishes, all right, but I'm gonna still say no. 0 first teams, 3 second teams. 0 conference finals appearances. I know that has nothing to do with the argument, but I'm petty. All right. Willis Reed, 1964, 1974, 1 first team selection, 0 second teams. So he has, I mean, if we're going to be consistent now, why is he ranked so high? He only averaged 1.1 block per game. 32.4 defensive win shares. I mean, we already seen a dude on the list at 83 point something defensive win shares for the career, and they played in a more difficult era. Right? So it's like, all right, now let's be fair. Derek White, 1 first team, 2 second team. So 2017 was his first year. So we're looking at, I mean, he's played 10 seasons. 1 block a game, 0.9 steals per game, 19.5 defensive win shares. When we look at Derek White, though, we watch the game and we watch film. If you're a Miami Heat fan like myself, he's giving us some nightmares. He's given us quite a few nightmares. Not when he was guarding Jimmy Butler, of course, but he's given us some nightmares. So you can watch film and see he's an elite defender. But 99 defenders ever with this resume, basically, that's what we're going on. Really, I don't see it. Now, for Derek White, they say Derek White is one of the best perimeter defenders of his era, which is a huge part of why he's been so positively impactful, despite a career 3-point percentage that's just average. It has nothing to do with offense. It has literally nothing to do with offense. This is a 99 defenders ever. White can make life difficult for both guards and forwards. Is good on and off the ball. Is much better shot blocker than his size suggests he should be. Over the last 3 seasons, the 6'4" White has averaged 1.2 blocks per game. That's good, all right, and that's understood. But we're talking about the 99 defensive players of all time. You have to consider resume when you're making rankings. Not saying who's better overall. When you're making a ranking system, you have to have some form of, okay, let's talk about defensive player of the years. Let's talk about first team all defense. Let's talk about second team. Let's talk about defensive win shares. And then we get to stats, and then we get to film. Now, I don't really like this spot for him. Somebody voted him 52. That's a little much. Wes Unseld, one of the dudes I mentioned before, 1968 to 1981. 0 first team, 0 second team, 0.6 blocks a game, 1.1 steals per game, but he has 64.1 defensive win shares. Again, what is the criteria? I look, I see the era, I know, okay, they're probably leaning to the era that he played in. I don't know. And how do you get that number for defensive win shares? Like I said, I don't know. Another big man who spent significant portion of his career playing before steals and blocks were counted. Also fair. Forgot about that. Also extremely fair. Wes Unseld didn't post huge numbers in either of those categories. He also finished his career without any defensive accolades, such as a all defensive nod. But what he did do is absolutely dominate the glass in both the regular season and playoffs. Wes Unseld is 6th all-time in his career in rebounding average and 1977-78 season, which ended in the finals MVP for Unseld. He grabbed 12 boards a game. So they're counting rebounds, but they didn't list his rebounding numbers. Okay. I don't agree with it. Theo Ratliff. Again, 95 to 2011, you're dealing with Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, anybody that had to guard Shaq one-on-one, isolated situations, especially in the NBA Finals, you're getting credit and you might be put on this list. I think that's one of the things that, that I'm seeing a big theme of. The era that you played in, who was the top dog? Did you have to deal with him on a night-to-night basis? I mean, he has 30.3 defensive win shares and 2.4 blocks a game. I'm not seeing it. 2 second teams, 4 top 10 defensive player of the year finishes. I'm not seeing it. I don't like it. Whoa, who do we just pass up? OG Anunoby. OG. Why? Boy, y'all gon' listen to me. I gotta say this on full screen because it's gonna get ugly. I'm gonna tell y'all this now. We've seen what's been happening with the Boston Celtics since 2008. This ring culture, the championship bias for the New York Knicks is going to be off the charts, the likes of which we've never seen. Man, OG Anunoby 86. He has no first teams, 2 second teams, top 10 defensive player of the year finishes, 2 of them. I have no idea how. Granted, he has 2 championships. Cool. We don't remember. He didn't do anything for the first one, so we don't really credit him for that. We just, hey, your name is on the list here. But 1.3 steals a game, 0.6 blocks per game, 20.9 defensive win shares in almost 10 seasons. Like, all right, bro. Now, look, this right away, I said that the championship bias is going to play a role. We just had a great view of how important OG Anunoby's multi-positional defense was during the New York Knicks title and, first title in 53 years. Okay, cool. We get all that. We understand all that. But what people have to understand is when you're making a ranking system all time, things like first teams matter, second teams matter. When I'm saying the same thing over and over again because I don't think the people that make these lists fully understand the concept. Paul Pressey, don't really okay. Oh, no. Same thing applies. I don't get it. But again, look at the era, 1982, 1992, and you were a small forward. That means Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Clyde Drexler, Larry Bird, Dominique Wilkins, Magic Johnson, James Worth. You see the theme. You see the theme. All right. Look at the era, and it makes sense. Just look at the era. It makes sense. This is why these lists have no precedent or credence when we have all-time conversations. That's why I don't want them included, but here we are. Paul Silas, I'm more familiar with you as a coach than a player, but again, era, defensive win shares, I can see it. 2 first finally we get some first teams, we get some second team selections. The era, the defensive win shares, it adds up. Obviously, going back to the original point they made about Wes Unseld, blocks and steals weren't really calculated like that, so we're not going to look at that number. That's how you know. Another thing, that's how you know specifically it's era, win shares, first and second teams. Which also makes no sense why OG Anunoby is included on this list, and I digress. Andrew, Dave Cowens, 70 to 83. The era, defensive win shares, 1 first team, 2 second teams. No top 10 finishes. So based on the resume, he shouldn't be on this list. He should not be on this list. He played for the Boston Celtics, all right, in the 70s and early 80s. The answer is no. He's not on my list. He's not on my list. Sorry. Bill Laimbeer. Now, this has nothing to do with Jordan bias. Me being a Jordan fan has nothing to do with that. I want you, and let me know in the comments, look at this resume and tell me that he belongs on this list. Tell me, looking at this list, he belongs here. He has no first teams, no second teams, no defensive player of the years, no top 10 finishes. He averages less than a block, less than a steal per game. Tell me that he belongs on this list. You can't. There's no justification for why he's here. There's none. This list is already just bugging me. Nate McMillan. I told you. Look at the era. That's number 1. Then you look at defensive win shares. Not bad, but not elite. Not bad, but not elite. Then you also got to factor in, all right, top 10 finishes. He has 2 second teams, no first. I'm sorry, he doesn't belong here. Number 78, Evan Mobley. I don't know. Look, this could be. You know what? Based on what we've seen, could it be possible that he should be higher? I don't know, because he has 1 defensive player of the year, something we haven't seen so far. I think he's the first defensive player of the year on the list so far. 2 top finishes, 2 first teams, so maybe 1.6 blocks a game, 17.9 defensive win shares. Like, all right, I don't know. I think it's too soon, but I do think he's more deserving of the list than pretty much everybody we've seen so far. Artis Gilmore, not really familiar, but my word, 75.5 defensive win shares. And again, there's people with more defensive win shares than him that we've seen on this list so far, but they're ranked lower than him. But he has 4 first teams and 1 second team. Okay. Now justify this, okay? What I'm going to ask you again is to justify 1 first team, 1 second team, 40 defensive win shares, 1.8 block a game. We just seen 4 first teams, 1 second team, and 75.5 defensive win shares. Come on, man. Like that's what I'm talking about. It's not going to make sense. 75.5 defensive win shares, 4-1. 40 defensive win shares, 1-1. It doesn't make sense. It does not. It doesn't. It doesn't. Let's see the explanation. Maybe best known for his adaptation of 3 point. They're going back to they're starting with his offense. He has 16 defensive win shares. He has 1 first team. He has 1 second team. This is his resume. And you have Evan Mobley multiple spots behind him. And Mobley has a defensive player of the year. At no time did you say Alex Caruso was the best defensive player of the league. Give him this award. They looked at Mobley and said that, but you have him ranked higher than Evan Mobley. All right, bro. All right. I'm not even going to entertain this. I'm not even going to entertain that one. No first teams, no second. I'm not going to entertain this. I'm not going to. But again, let's go back. Let's talk about it because let's keep consistency. Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, Tim Duncan, Chris Webber, Amari Stoudemire. You can put Elton Brand in there, Lamar Odom, you know, all those guys, right? Cool. So based on who you had to guard in that era at your position night in and night out, who you had to deal with, that's fair that you get some consideration to be in some of the conversations, but you're making a ranking of the best ever. This if you're making a ranking of who you think is a better defender, you have to use film and not accolades. When you throw accolades in the mix and you see 0 firsts, 0 seconds, no top 10s, no defensive player of the years, 1.3 blocks, 1 steal, it's not adding up to he should be included in the 99 best ever. That's why you need a clear and concise focus on how we're going to judge these players when we're making a list. If you don't do that, you get this. That's what you get. So him being a part of the list makes no. Okay. This is Paul George at 72. I have a strong feeling. I have a very, very, very strong feeling that he needs to be higher on this list than what, 72? Yeah, I have a strong feeling. Strong feeling. So we're looking at 1.7 steals, 0.4 blocks, 49 defensive win shares, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 4 top 10 finishes, and he was third at one point in both MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. So this is his full resume. So Paul George's highest vote was 32. So somebody agrees with me. Somebody agrees that he could possibly need to be higher on his list. Okay. Here we go again. Okay. He has 66 defensive win shares. Okay. 3 second teams, 4 top 10 finishes. When I look at Shaquille O'Neal as a defender, I don't. I just look at him as being the biggest guy on the basketball court and everybody's scared to attack the rim. That doesn't necessarily make you a better defender, but his defensive win shares are 66.4. He has 4 top 10 finishes. I don't know if I put him above Paul George as a defender because Paul George had to guard Dwayne Wade, Shaq, Kevin Durant, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, Carmelo Anthony. Oh my goodness. He had to guard all of these dudes in their prime. I don't know if I have Shaq up here. I don't. Let's move on. Excuse me. Larry Bird. What? No way. No way.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
No way. Larry Bird at 70 above a dude that has the Defensive Player of the Year award against a dude that has 4 top 10 finishes, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, was third in Defensive Player of the Year voting. I named all of the players that Paul George had to guard throughout the course of his career, and Larry Bird, Larry Legend, let's get again. His rebounds are not going to be a factor because they don't include them in these stats. He has 1 top 10 finish, 3 second teams, 59 defensive win shares. Cool, but we don't know what the list is really about. So when analyzing the list, Larry Bird shouldn't be on here. He should not. He shouldn't be on the list. I don't care. I don't care. He shouldn't be up here. Fine, 3 second teams. Put him on the list with 59 defensive win shares, but don't put him here. He's not. Now, I remember at the start of this video, I said I don't crash out. The list has determined that was a lie. Okay, I'm gonna try to conduct myself in a more respectful manner from this point on. Okay. Who's next? Buck Williams. I've watched a handful of series. I want to say maybe 5 or 6 different series. I'm not gonna comment on the actual film of his game, but 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 61.8 defensive win shares, and look at the era, right? So you're dealing with, you know, some of the best bigs that have ever played the game, like, you know, Moses and Kareem and, you know, guys like that, right? Fine. But I don't know. At 69, I'm taking Buck Williams. Come on, man. Played good physical defense, could dominate the boards, and check those boxes without demanding a ton of rewards at the other end. Sir, rebounding is not included in your assessment, but you're putting it in the comments. When you have rebounding included in the stats up here, that tells me these are some of the things that you considered when making this list. If we want to do a rebounds list, fine. But don't. We got Jerry West at 68. I don't know. Because 4 first, 1 second defensive win shares. There's somebody that's higher than him, or there's somebody that's lower than him with the same exact information or the same exact numbers, and they don't have the same ranking. It just doesn't make sense to me. Oh! Yeah, y'all wildin'. Get I want to yeah. He has what, 3 all defensive team selections? That's fine. Second team, okay, 2 top 10 finishes. 47.4 defensive win shares. This is how I know film has no bearing or anything on the situation. Because you mean to tell me a guy that can guard 1 through 3 and some 4s, a guy who is number 1 all time amongst guards, number 1 in blocks, playoffs and regular season, number 1 all time, had to guard Kobe, AI, T-Mac, Jason Kidd, You can trust him on the switch with Kevin Durant. You can trust him on the switch with Carmelo Anthony. You can trust him on the switch with LeBron. You can trust him, guarding the full game. He was guarding Kobe for full games. Paul George, guarded Paul George. Guarded Tony Parker. Guarded Derrick Rose. Guarded Chris Paul. He was guarding 1s, 2s, 3s, and some 4s in situations. I need you to understand that Dwayne Wade is not the 67th best defender all time. So from here on out, just so you know, if I see somebody on this list that's not better than Dwayne Wade at 67, I'm crashing out. It just doesn't make sense at this point. What? All right, man. All right. Bleacher Report, you got me. No. I don't care. 2 firsts, 4 fine. You can be on the list. You're not better than Dwayne Wade. I don't care. You guarded Mike. You guarded Kobe. All right. Next. You can stay. I don't want no smoke. OG. You can stay. It's fine. Let's talk about Dwayne Wade just for a split second, okay? Because this is what's bothering me. People are going to look at this, okay? Do you know who was first team all those years ahead of Kobe? Even second team? Pretty sure it was either Kobe Bryant, Tony Allen, guys like that. Maybe Avery Bradley a couple of those years. But to be a guy who finished third in MVP, that means you are one of the 5, 4, 3 best players in the entire NBA. But then you also finished third in Defensive Player of the Year voting. That means you are one of the best 5, 4, or 3 defenders in the league. Then you follow that up for the rest of your career, and you're number 1 in a defensive statistic ever as a guard. Not somebody who's just a point guard, not somebody who's just 6'4" or under, not just somebody who's a shooting guard. No. Point guard, shooting guard combined, I am the best guard ever at this one thing, and it's on defense. Rondo, you can stay. At this point, like, I really lost all the will to fight. Like, 3 first seconds, 1 I don't even want to finish this list. Why are you here? Why you're not? So again, let's talk about it. Evan Mobley is about almost 30 spots back. He's ranked 59th. Evan Mobley also has the Defensive Player of the Year. Evan Mobley, first teams, he's got, a Defensive Player of the Year, top finishes, and all this, defensive win shares. Why is Evan Mobley so far back? And let's keep it a buck. If we being honest about that Memphis Grizzlies team, nobody cares about them anymore. They had one good year. It's been crumbling ever since. So any credit that team has ever gotten, it was probably for one season. Yeah, we good in the West, right? Where are you at now? You in Utah. You're not good anymore. You're not good in the West anymore. No, I'm sorry. 59, no. You have a Defensive Player of the Year, cool, that one time. Then why is Evan Mobley so far back? Who is this? Who did I? Shane Battier at 58. And you know what I'm scared of? You know what I'm scared about? You know what makes me completely and utterly nervous? Somebody is going to sit there and go in the comments, and you're probably typing it up right now. You're probably doing it right now. John Stockton is ranked ahead of Dwayne Tyrone Wade Jr. in defense. John Stockton at 57. He has 64.9 defensive win shares because he played for 20 years, dog. 2.2 steals. Okay, so all right, man. 5 second team finishes, two top 10. All right, bro. You got it. Friend of the show. All right, Tommy, the eye test, Koala Wolf. Your man's is ranked 56th. I'm gonna let you talk about that. I guarantee you, if you watch the full video and you see this, you're gonna be in the comment section. I'll wait for it. I'm not gonna comment on that. Again, his defensive player of the year, his top 3, but he has 26.4 defensive win shares in 13 seasons. The words of Kendrick Lamar, it's not enough. It's not enough. But that defensive player of the year carries more weight than some others, I assume. I'm not gonna comment on it. Tayshaun at 52. This is more of film and reputation versus actual stats and accolades, right? Because I mean, he played from 2002 to 2016, so you caught KD, LeBron, Melo, D Wade, Kobe. You caught all of them in the absolute prime. Like every guy that you were responsible for guarding at a high level, I mean, is going to be in the Hall of Fame, and not just in the Hall of Fame, but more than likely a good chunk of them are in the top 75th anniversary team. So this is a reputation finish. Sir, you don't have the accolades to be in the mix here. You don't have the stats to be on this list. You don't have the defensive win share. So Bleacher Report, help me understand. Are we ranking who the actual best are, or are we ranking their careers? Because you can't do either, right? Dwayne Tyrone Wade is ranked 67th, dog. I'm cool though. That's what this list is. This whole list is the whole list. All of it. No disrespect to Maurice Cheeks. Jerry Sloan. You know what? Let's be fair to everybody. Okay, 4 first, 5 top 10 finishes, 42.6 defensive win shares, 2.1 steals, played 15 years. Maurice Cheeks, you deserve to be a part of this list at 51. Let's see who comes next. No, not gonna comment on him. Shawn Marion. Okay, now look, this is one of the most underrated defenders ever. He doesn't come up in conversations, but again, for this list, 0 defensive firsts, 0 second teams. Brother, yeah, 4 top 10 finishes. Great. 61.3 defensive win shares. There's people with more of everything, and they're ranked less. What is the list based on? Because Shawn Marion for sure was like that. Hey, LeBron fans. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Huh? And I guarantee you there's a name we haven't seen on this list so far. And guess what? He got your man's defensive player of the year. He got your man's defensive player of the year. Come get it. 0 first teams, 1 second team. The second team that he got was the year he won Defensive Player of the Year, and he didn't even make the first team. Come on, man. I hate this list so much, bro. I hate this list. This is trash. Jimmy, I got a lot of love for Jimmy, man, but 0 firsts, 5 seconds, 2 top 10s, 38.6 defensive win share. He probably should have more defensive win shares over his career. 1.6 steals. I mean, led the league in steals once or twice, a couple times, whatever. All right, bro. You played 16 years. That's all you got. Defensive win. That's all your defensive. Blah, blah, blah. That's all. Sorry, I normally do that in the bloopers. I do not do that in the full video. But 38.6 defensive win shares, no first, 2 top 10 finishes, no DPOYs. Too high. Too high. But if we're going off how the list should look, yes. Okay. Patrick Ewing. Could be higher. Who was voting for these defensive first teams? That's what I gotta know. Who was voting for these awards? Buddy played 17 years. He got 81.4 defensive win shares. 81.4 defensive win shares, and you have no firsts? No first. 5 top 10 finishes and 3 second teams. You mean to tell me you have 81.4 defensive win shares, and you have no first teams? Bugging. Dennis Johnson, one of the best defensive point guards of all time. 6 first, 3 top 10 finishes, 3 second team, 42.7 defensive win shares. Most people don't talk about it, but that Seattle championship had a finals MVP. Shout out to Dennis Johnson. But yeah, I mean, one of the rare that I've seen where he's extremely deserving. Extremely deserving. We should have him in more conversations, especially at his position. Hey, man, 4 first, 1 second, 23 defensive win shares. Okay. 4 top 10. Come on now. The consistency just isn't there. But yes, Joe D was one of the best defensive players ever. Tyson Chandler, DPOY, 3 top 10 finishes, 1 first, 2 seconds, 45.8 defensive win shares, played almost 20 years. Okay, but I think he should be further back, like where Marcus Smart is or where Jaren Jackson is, because again, you have one of these, but you only did it one time, really, right? So this list is just, it has no rhyme. When I say like Dwayne Wade, my favorite player. When I say Kobe's one of my favorite players. When I say Michael Jordan is one of my favorite players, like I mean what I say, okay? I'm not just operating by jumping on a bandwagon because, hey, somebody said that these 3 guys were the top 3 greatest shooting guards of all time. No. I've studied them meticulously. Jeff Teague, this is your fault. You did this. Whew. Now, my crash out for Dwayne Wade, justified. This one right here, I'm trying to not just clear this whole area out that's in front of me. A lot of important stuff right here. So I'm just it's a lot of important stuff right here. So I'm gonna just keep it cool real quick. He has 6 top 10 finishes. He has 9 first teams. He has 3 second teams. He has 12 defensive selections. He has 50.7 defensive win shares. He has more first team. And this is one of the things that I want people to understand. This has nothing to do with film. We're looking at numbers, accolades, win shares, and when you played. Has nothing to do with film. When we're looking at just this part right here, you can't tell me that Kobe is the 42nd best player defensively on this list. If we're talking about film, I've seen him lock up Melo. I've seen him lock up Kobe. I'm sorry, I'm talking crazy. I've seen him lock up D Wade. I've seen him go at Michael Jordan. I've seen him go at Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving. I've seen him guard a number of players at a high level. 42. 42. Let's move on, because this is going to turn into an ugly conversation that is not meant to be. All right, this is going to get ugly. I don't want that to happen. He has the defensive player of the year, 34.2 defensive win shares, 2 firsts, 1 second. What are we doing? What are we doing? I've always given Clyde the utmost respect, okay? And if you watch any Knicks games, the man is fly every time, 1,000%. Him and Dr. J was going bar for bar, right? He has less defensive win shares than Kobe. He has less first teams than Kobe. He has less second teams than Kobe. All right, man. All right. He has less first teams. He has less second teams, less defensive win shares than Kobe. Let's be consistent, okay? I think that Bam Adebayo is one of the best defensive players in the NBA. He deserves more first teams. He deserves more top 10 finishes. He deserves a defensive player of the year. He is one of the 5 best defensive players in the league. He can actually guard 1 through 5. It's not a myth. I've seen it. He's top 1 or 2 in switches in the league, and they shoot the worst percentage when they're guarded by him. But he has less first teams, less all overall defensive selections, and he doesn't have defensive player of the year, and he has less defensive win shares than Kobe Bryant. Again, Wemby is one of those guys defensively. I've said it numerous times. His gravity defensively is that of Steph Curry's offense. It is absolutely ridiculous what he can do defensively. So he has the defensive player of the year. He's only played 3 years, 4 years, whatever. No, this is his third season. He has 2 first teams, 12.2 defensive win shares. I'm thinking by the end of his career, he could have 100 defensive win shares. I've seen guys on this list with 81, 82, and 15 years or something like that. He might be one of the ones that can hit 100. Okay? We'll say fair. We'll say fair. Jrue Holiday is widely recognized as one of the best defensive players of the era, one of the best defensive guards of all time. He has less defensive win shares, less firsts, less overall. Come on, man. And this is what people talk about. They be like, man, Kobe really. Did you watch? Did you study? And I'm not talking about going on YouTube and typing Kobe's defensive highlights. No. I'm not talking about that. I have never in my life seen somebody guard Carmelo Anthony the way Kobe was. Carmelo Anthony is one of the top 10 scorers ever. I'm not talking about, Kobe still got 30. No. Melo still got 30. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking, did you see the fight to position himself and get Melo off his spot? Did you see the active hands? Did you see him cut him off, cutting angles? Did you see him guarding Allen Iverson? Did you see him guarding Kyrie? He picked up Dwayne Wade in his prime up full court. Like, come on, man. Iggy, 1 first, 1 second, 4 top 10 finishes. Four firsts, 5 seconds, 75.1 defensive win shares, and he is one of the best defensive point guards ever. There's a name I haven't seen on the list just yet, so I'm assuming Gary Payton is going to be the #1 point guard of all time defensively. Who else could we put on that conversation? We've already seen Drew Holiday. We've already seen Dennis Johnson. We will not see Magic. We won't see Oscar. We saw Jerry West already. We have not seen Allen Iverson. If they got a, we have not seen Allen Iverson. We haven't seen Chris Paul yet. Chris Paul has a lot of defensive selections. I don't think he has more than Gary though. So they got Jason Kidd maybe ranked 3rd amongst point guards all time defensively. Okay, I guess. I mean, okay. I'm not gonna talk about it, but he does have 74.1 defensive win shares. All right. Nate Thurman. And you know what's crazy about Nate Thurman? Nate Thurman was, I'm not even exaggerating, he was 25 in this picture. I guarantee you he was 25 in this picture. Back in the day, man, they was losing hair like crazy early. But 62.2 defensive win shares, 2 firsts, 3 seconds, 2.1 blocks per game. Also, consider who was dominating the era. You can be on the list, bro, but a lot of people got more defensive accolades than you, and stats better. We have a ton of film on these dudes. Like, I knew it. Chris Paul, 7 firsts, 2 seconds, 60 defensive win shares, 2 steals per game. I mean, you kind of, like I said, I called that out. I knew CP was going to be up here. One of the quickest, craftiest defensive guards of all time, 6 foot. We know Chris Paul kind of dirty. Michael Cooper, I mean, he guarded everybody, right? 5 first, 3 second, 1 defensive player of the year, but his win shares aren't there. I might liken this one to who he played with. Sidney Moncrief, good defender. Do we see it? If you're making a ranking based off these things, why are they not making sense? There should be a weighted score to where you say, all right, defensive win shares, times whatever, plus this, plus that, should be that, right? But, hey. So, watch them, cool. He has a defensive player of the year, so Michael Cooper above Kobe. This joker right here, 4 first, 1 second, 28.9 defensive win shares. The problem is he has 2 defensive players of the years and 4 top 10 finishes. Okay. Now, I've seen a lot of players with defensive player of the year awards, but they're not up where he's at. So how much weight do you really put into defensive player of the year? He has 2, so I imagine he's going to be higher up on his list. Anybody with multiple is going to be higher up on this list, but there's going to be players with none ahead of him. What are we doing? Mark Eaton, 2 defensive player of the years, 3 firsts, 2 seconds, 48 defensive win share. No arguments. Bobby Jones, okay, I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with, but he did play with the Philadelphia 76ers. He was a teammate with Charles Barkley for, I think he was a teammate for maybe 2 years, three full years, I think. I think he was teammate with them for 3 full years, but he was one of their defensive stoppers when Dr. J and all them, Moses was there. He was one of the defensive stoppers on that team. Maurice Cheeks. So they had an elite defense. When Moses Malone got there and he was talking about 4-4-4, it wasn't just because him and Dr. J. All right. They had defenders on that team. You add in Moses with his rebounding and his scoring. I mean, 4-4-4, that made perfect sense. 43.2 defensive win shares, 10 firsts, 1 second, 2 top 10 finishes, 0 defensive player of the years. But Sidney Moncrief has 2. He has 2. Like Bruce Bowen, Kobe, 33, 5 and 3. These are not better than Kobe, but guess what? They're not better than Bobby Jones. They're not better. Where's he at? Than Sidney Moncrief. 2 defensive player of the years is not better. Is not better than Bruce Bowen. That's what you're telling me. You don't want 2 defensive player of the years on a list ranking the 99 best defenders ever. All right, man. Tony Allen, 3 firsts, 3 seconds, 29.6 defensive win shares. It's not better than. All right, man. In my opinion, this is a reputation selection. This is a selection based on film and studying. This is not a ranking where we put our accolades, all of their stats and numbers, analytics in a pot, and we say, okay, you're placed here. Tony Allen is not one of those dudes. So why is he here? Why is he this high on the list? Make a list ranking your best defenders ever. Fine. Don't make it about accolades and awards and analytics. Don't do that. Don't do that. Five firsts, 1 second, 85.7 defensive win shares. He's at 22. I need to see the other 21 because there's going to be a ton of big men. There's maybe a handful of 3s. We've seen a ton of 4s so far. I've seen just about all of the 1s. I'm still waiting on 2 more to see. LeBron at 22, I'm not mad at it. Maybe I'm thinking top. I think he's clear. I think LeBron is top 20. I think LeBron is a top 20 defender of all time. But let's debunk the myth that let me see. Let me see. Okay. They didn't mention it in here, but let me debunk a myth. LeBron cannot guard 1 through 5. He cannot. He can't. Let me throw out some names. Roy Hibbert, Dwight Howard, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid. LeBron has not guarded these people. Okay, let's talk some 4s. David West, he did not. Dirk Nowitzki, he did not. Tim Duncan, he did not. Kevin Garnett, handful of times, but not a lot. He was not guarding KG like that. That was either Chris Bosh or Ben Wallace or Varejao. He was not guarding KG like that. He was on Paul Pierce. Like so the idea that he's guarding 1 through 5, he can guard some of them who are undersized. a guy that's maybe 6'9", who's playing the 5, who's not really a bank.
Pause again.
I was about to make that Charles Barkley mistake. Who's not a bruiser? Maybe, yeah. But no, he's not guarding bigs like that. He's not. He never has. Okay, so we have to stop with that. But I do think he's a top 20 defender of all time. But one thing I will say is the communication that LeBron provides, the floor general that he provides offensively, he can do the exact same thing defensively. He can call out your sets. He can pick off exactly what you're trying to accomplish, he can do that like nobody else. So the idea that he can guard 1 through 5, no, let's sit that over there. That's not really what makes LeBron an elite defender. What makes him an elite defender is his mind coupled with his physical ability. Outrageous. I would say, and this is what everybody talks about. Man, he's really taking care of his body. How is he able to play this long? He's gonna be 42, sir. The basketball data that this man stores up here is on another level on both sides of the ball. So yes, he's top 20. He's too low on this list, in my opinion. I say 18, 19. This is a reputation thing. Again, this is why the list doesn't make sense. 2 firsts, 2 second, 1 defensive player of the year, 41.3 defensive win shares. Okay. This is not based on this. And I don't think it's based on that, because guess what? There's somebody ahead of him that has 0. I'm repeating myself, but you get it. Oh, I thought for a second, I thought that said 90. I was like, what? Yeah, but yeah, 99. Zoe, 2 defensive player of the years, 2 firsts, 0 seconds, 4 top 10 finishes, 48 defensive win shares. So yeah, yes, Alonzo Mourning, multiple DPOYs, he can stay. Again, reputation, film is making its way into a conversation that's about stats and accolades. He has no DPOYs. He has 3 firsts, 2 seconds. It's a defensive player of the year award on a defensive all-time list. Zoe has 2. You have none. How many defensive win shares does Zoe have? 48. 40. It's not making sense. Wilt Chamberlain. Now, a lot of his stats aren't tracked, but I've seen some Wilt Chamberlain games. This man was blocking his own teammates' shots. If you want to know how he got to 52 points a game, or if you want to know how he was putting up 100-point games, the man was blocking shots on both teams so he can score. All right, so yeah, 93.9 defensive win shares. A lot of his stuff was goaltending, so I'm just gonna leave that argument alone for right now. Now, I'm supposed to be biased because he is now a member of the Miami Heat. Okay, I'm supposed to be extremely biased. Giannis is not a better defender than LeBron. Giannis is not a better defender than Anthony Davis. He has the defensive player of the year, 4 firsts, 1 second, and 7 top 10 finishes, but he's not better defensively than LeBron James. Again, this number will take you places where you probably shouldn't be, but Zoe has 2 and more defensive win shares. We got Kareem, 94.5 defensive win shares, 5 first, 6 second, but no defensive players of the year. Okay, so we can look at this and say he's here because of his 94.5 defensive win shares. Fine, whatever, I'll take it. We already talked about Mike being right here. Defensive player of the year, 10 top 10 finishes, 9 first team selections, 64.1 defensive win shares, 2.3 steals, 0.8 blocks. He's second all time in blocks amongst guards. The film shows it. The accolades are there. He has the defensive player of the year. But once again, we got to be mindful of who's next. And like I said, this is who I was waiting for. Gary Payton, number one. He should be the number 1 point guard of all time. Hopefully there's no more surprises. Wow. Spoiler alert. This is the last guard left on this list. In other words, at least according to this panel of voters, Gary Payton is the best defensive guard in NBA history. 9 firsts, 0 seconds, 7 top 10 finishes, defensive player of the year, 48.9 defensive win shares, 1.8 steals. Guard Kobe, Mike. There's some situations where he was guarding LeBron. Like, dude guard everybody. He guard 1s and 2s and some 3s. So yeah, I'm okay with him being voted as the best defensive guard of all time. Dwight Howard, I'm surprised at this number right here. 76.2 defensive win shares. That's it. Very surprising. I thought he would have more. 4 first team selections, 1 second team selection, 6 top 10 finishes, and 3 defensive player of the year awards. I don't think he gets as much respect as he should, but a dude averaging 23, 24 points a game, 3-time defensive player of the year, giving you that, and he's giving you 12 boards with at his height, he was averaging over 3 blocks a game. Dwight Howard's peak is one of the best two-way bigs we've ever seen. Rightfully so. 3 first, 4 second, 5 top 10 finishes, 2 defensive player of the years. I say most of that is because of the time that he missed, being injured, being hurt. That's fair. I'm cool with him. Two defensive player of the year awards, but Kawhi reputation alone, he's one of the best defenders we've ever seen. David Robinson, 80 defensive win shares, 1 defensive player of the year, 9 finishes, 4 first, 4 second. I'm okay with this. 3 blocks per game. Jeez. Draymond. Let me know in the comments. All right, this might start an argument, this might not. I think Kawhi Leonard is a better all-around defender than Draymond Green. I think so. I think Kawhi, well, I guess what also plays into this is Draymond's communication level. His ability to call out actions, switch, all those things do play a factor into it. So maybe I'm wrong on that. But I think Kawhi should be considered as a top 10 defender in NBA history. We got 5 first, 4 second, 46 win shares, 1 DPOY, 9 top 10 finishes. All right. We know why he's here. We know why. 4 defensive players of the years. We got to be fair. 8 first, 1 second, 55.3. This freaking number right here. If it wasn't for that number, I'm telling you, I'd take Kawhi over Rudy. I'd take Draymond over Rudy. I'd take LeBron over Rudy. I'd take Kobe over Rudy and Dwayne Wade. But that could be a biased opinion because, again, I said this number matters. So if we're being consistent, we got to hold true to that. And he has 10 top 10 finishes. So moving on. I just don't like Rudy Gobert. Scottie Pippen. Scottie, 67.3 defensive win shares, 8 first, 2 second, no DPOYs, 9 top 10 finishes, 67.3 defensive win shares. But I don't know if from 15 to 8, that is the difference between Scottie and Mike. But, nitpicking at this point, these are top 20 defenders ever. 67.3 defensive win shares, no wins, 9 top 10s, 8 first, 2 second. Scottie's one of the best ever. Like I said, that's just nitpicking at this point. Being able to guard 1 through 4, 1 through 5. 1 through 3 and some 4s. 1 through 3 and some 4s. Dennis Rodman, no arguments. 2 DPOYs, 2 top 10s, 7 first, 1 second, 54.5 defensive win shares. No argument. You're probably not gonna see argument on any of this. All right, let's argue. Never mind. Psych, I lied. I gotta remember. This number matters. That number does matter. Wow. I'm saying wow because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking of all of his career, right? 8th seed to beat the number 1 seed. The way he was defending in Atlanta, what he was able to help Philadelphia do when they got to the finals that year. It was kind of downhill after that. You know, you don't really remember him. New Jersey, not too much in New York, but Houston, he was a part of their decent run. I think it was in 2007 when they went on that crazy streak. So I mean, this is the quietest 4 defensive player of the years on this entire list. Super quiet. I mean, just go about his business. Not really appreciated for it, but 2.8 blocks per game. And considering where he's ranked, I'm gonna put good money on the fact that Ben Wallace is probably next. I'm about to go on FanDuel right now. 70.6 defensive win shares, 4 defensive player of the year, 7 top 10 finishes, 5 first, 1 second. This is another thing I didn't know. Yeah, he had 2 blocks per game, but the steals too. The steals is something I didn't know about. And then also looking at this list, I mean, nobody really remembers he came from Washington. He wasn't always in Detroit, but he came from Washington. What he was able to accomplish in Detroit, we know that. What he did in Chicago after that, what he did in Cleveland. I mean, very, like I said, quiet, underrated. Hakeem Olajuwon, in my opinion, is the best two-way player in NBA history. The best. Dude's going out and get you 25 plus, getting you 12, getting you 3.1 blocks, 1.7 steals, 94.5 defensive win shares, 2 defensive player of the years, 10 top finishes, 5 first teams, 4 seconds, MVP, defensive player of the year award winner in the same season, and 2 finals MVPs. I don't know anybody that's going to argue that. I really don't. I want to see the argument. Let me know in the comments who you think is the greatest two-way player in NBA history. Kevin Garnett. I do not think he's better than Hakeem Olajuwon. I do not think so. Great defender, great defensive mind, ultimate competitor, insanely great at communicating, both for your team and against it. 1.4 blocks, 1.3 steals, 91.5 defensive win shares, 1 win, 11 top 10 finishes, 9 first, 3 second. But if we compare him, yeah, Hakeem should be higher on this list. Oh, then yeah, I know who's number 1 all time. Tim Duncan. Wow. This has got to be a defensive win shares thing. It has to be, because he's I'm pretty sure he's number 1 in selections, isn't he? He has 15 total. I already know who's number 1 on the list, and I know who's number 3 and 4. I don't think Duncan is top 5. I don't think he's top 5. Bill Russell. This is, and I wonder if they can go back and really look. Like, I watched games. Dude is looking like he has maybe 9, 10, or 11 blocks. Like, I've seen some of those games, and I know what you're gonna say. Oh, you seen games of Bill Russell? Did you see that 100-point game by Wilt? That's not important right now. All right, 133.6 defensive win shares is insane, rightfully so. The number 1 player on the top 99 list, and there's a lot of people that don't need to be on the list, and there's some people that's in front of others that shouldn't be in front of others. And let me know in the comments how you feel about the entire list. But also go into the comment section, give me your starting 5 of the best defenders ever at each position. That's one more for the good guys, man. We out.
I'm tired of being humble. I'm tired of letting people think they got a chance. This is my show. This is my camera.